Hello, everybody. Hope all you guys are having a lovely start to your Friday Eve and almost weekend Eve, because get it, tomorrow is Friday, and then after tomorrow is the weekend. So we're on the eve of the weekend Eve. That's the only way and the best way I can explain it. So hopefully you guys understood that. But as you guys know, today is April 2nd of 2026. And throughout the month of April, we are going to be talking about Autism Acceptance Month and Awareness Month on the channel. Yesterday, we began our series with Autism Awareness and Acceptance Month. And today, we are going to continue it. And a matter of fact, like I said in yesterday's episode, in this episode, and today's episode, we are going to be talking about the 3 different levels of autism. And I will explain into each depth of the 3 different signs and levels of autism. And speaking of autism, did you guys know that today is Autism Awareness Day? It's actually, in the autistic community, we call it National Autism Day. So a little fun fact for you guys, but also happy National Autism Day to any of you guys out there in the autistic community. But I think other than that, let's get started. Whoopsies! Sorry, my camera fell. Okay, guys, so we're going to talk about the 3 different levels of autism. There is low functioning, medium functioning, and high functioning. And all 3 levels are a little bit different in their own way, okay? So I'm going to go from low to highest, okay? So we're going to begin our talk at low functioning autism. So anytime someone has low functioning autism, they are basically the ones that are closest to someone that does not have autism. Low functioning basically means that, and it basically can mean 2 different things. Sorry, guys. And those 2 different things are either they need a lot of help with their day-to-day activities or day-to-day life. That is A, or option 2 is they need a lot of help. I think they either don't need help or need a lot of help. So so basically, you know, I've worked with people who have low functioning autism, and I'll be very honest with you guys. Some of those low functioning autism have actually needed a lot of help. Like when they are in the workplace, they would have to have a job coach assistant assist them with day-to-day activities with their job. Most people with low functioning autism, believe it or not, cannot drive. And you kind of also understand, guys, that there's nothing wrong with not wanting to drive, okay? But basically, guys, a lot of low functioning people with autism, guys, they are put on administrative IEPs, okay? IEPs stand for Individual Education Plan, and pretty much anybody that is autistic, Asperger's, and some other developmental struggles are placed on IEPs from elementary school all the way to throughout high school. They can, and then their IEPs would actually change if they went to college. But, so like, basically, guys, a lot of, functioning autism, sometimes they don't need to be in a resource room or an extended resource room. They can be in mainstream classrooms and do a lot of the day-to-day work and assignments. That is not always the case. Sometimes they have to have an aide with them in mainstream classrooms, and that does vary on what their IEP says and their functional level on autism. That's also a very big key. And all of that. Most of the time, when someone on an IEP is in a mainstream classroom, they, believe it or not, they actually have an aide for those mainstream classrooms, okay? And basically what that aide's job to do is to help them in the mainstream classroom. It doesn't, they just, it's the way it works. Like, they would help them with quizzes, tests, or assignments, one-on-one, because, a teacher, they can't, like, aid everybody at one time, So basically, they have an aide help them out, whether it's another student or, someone from the resource room. Very, very big case there, guys. And they basically help them, but even though someone is on the functioning of autism, guys, it doesn't mean that they're going to be given an A. They have to earn their grade just like any other student. They just have a little extra help and all of that. And then again, guys, that does vary on what the IEP says and does, okay? And the IEP, which is the individual education plan, is different for every single person that has an IEP. Someone that does not have these developmental issues do not always have IEPs and all that. So it's very important to also know that someone who has an IEP, and we can talk about that a little more, they also have the full right to know everything that is on that IEP. So just a little fun fact there. But yeah, so that is, so basically, guys, if you guys are ever confused, depending on what state you live in will depend what functioning autism is. Here in the state of Idaho, functioning autism is the one that needs the most help in like day-to-day activities. That's here in Idaho, and like I said, with depending on the state you live in would depend on it. In other states, the functioning of autism means that they're like at the highest and all that, and they don't really need help to day-to-day activities. So there you guys. That is our next stop is on to medium. I just wanted to be a little cool and unique and funny, so I chose this background. But next is the medium level of autism, and in all 50 states of the USA, the medium is the same, okay? Someone that is on the medium spectrum and level of autism, guys, is right on the borderline. We like to call it like literally right on the borderline, okay? And most of the time, these are people that do not need a job coach when they have a job, and they don't always need an aide or TA to help them in mainstream classrooms, and they're not always going to spend the entire day when they're in the resource room at school, okay? However, guys, medium level of autism, guys, is basically, again, they're right on the line. They can do a lot of day-to-day activities on their own and really not need any assistance with it. It does vary, guys. Remember, guys, it is the definition of autism is a developmental disability, and I hate using the word disability. Okay, and I'll get to that and why in just a little bit. But it's where it helps them, it makes them perceive or think a certain way, guys. But the true reason I hate using the word disability is because, it doesn't make them different. Okay, even though in the autistic community we say it is okay to be different, that is really the number one quote of the autistic community. I feel like when you tell someone who has autism or is on the spectrum of autism, you're basically telling them they can't do something. And that is why I don't like using disability, okay? Even though it is technically considered a disability, I don't like using that word. I think that if you have autism, it makes you special like anybody else. And and believe me, guys, a lot of people in the autistic community, when they hear that disability word, they will feel extremely offended and all that. I have seen people punch people in the face because they are told that their autism is a disability. They get very, very offended by it, guys. I have seen people file lawsuits and sue people for telling them about, autistic disability. So I'm just telling you, not everybody in the autistic community is like that. But, a lot of people do get highly offended. But back on track, Ryan, okay? So, medium level is autism is right on the borderline. This is very, very interesting because sometimes they do very well at one thing and need a lot of extra help in another. Okay, like an example of stuff they would need extra help with. Maybe tying their shoes, school assignments, doing emails. A lot of times early on, it's reading. That is a very big one. Pronunciation. They're not the same for everybody that's on the borderline or the medium line, but it's kind of that way. So, it does vary, guys, because, you're literally right on the borderline of it. But, it depends. Everybody who's on medium level autism, again, it does vary and it is different just because of, again, what makes it the same literally always is that they struggle majorly in one area, but in another area, they're very, very highly good at and can do without any assistance. But, and their IEPs, is someone, I had a friend throughout school who was autistic, but he eventually got diagnosed at age 13 years old that he was on the middle, and his IEP changed dramatically when he was diagnosed as medium level. I mean, it was a nightmare for him and his family for like a good, 3 years because, he got diagnosed as autistic very young, but then at 13 years old, he was told by a doctor that you're on the middle, and everything, his IEP changed, and that became a nightmare. He almost got held back 3 separate occasions just because of how his IEP changed and all that. And really, the people that were his caseworker in school, they really sucked highly at doing their job. And I really felt bad for him. Luckily, he didn't get held behind. But they had to change the IEP. They had to change how he went, his help and assistance in class. And it really was a true nightmare for him. But the best definition of someone on the medium side is that they're kind of the 50-50, and really that's the best way to describe it. So there you go. All right, guys, now the last order of business is high functioning autism. Now, I'm going to kind of keep this one the shortest one of all. High functioning autism is kind of like I talked about the low functioning autism. In some states, depending on what state you guys live in, high functioning means that they can do a lot of stuff on day-to-day basis without any assistance, or they need a lot of help with, like your day-to-day assistance, guys. Basically, guys, even if you have a low level, medium, or high level of autism, more than likely from elementary school through high school, you will be on an IEP. And like I said, guys, an IEP is an individual education plan, okay? It is different once if you go to college and all that, but from elementary through high school, guys, you should definitely have an IEP, okay? But yeah, I mean, like I said, guys, high functioning, you either need a lot of help with your day-to-day activities or stuff like that, or a job, or you really don't. And again, depending on the state that you guys would live in, would determine how they handle and perceive high functioning autism. Okay, so that's really the three different levels of autism, guys. I just want to say this, guys. Again, I said it in yesterday's episode, and I will say it again right now, guys. It doesn't matter if you have Asperger's, autism, any other stuff going on, and all that, disorders, whatever. That doesn't matter. And the one reason that it doesn't matter is because despite all of that, guys, we are all different. Every single human being on this beautiful planet Earth, we are all different, okay? And we all deserve the right to be treated with respect and kindness, and not be bullied and not be made fun of because we look weird or whatever. I promise you guys, what people think of you guys really does not matter, okay? What you think of yourself is what matters, okay? Please listen to this, guys, okay? Even if you are low functioning, medium functioning, or high functioning of autism, that doesn't mean you cannot do what you dream of doing. If you want to be like Snow White, go out and be like Snow White. If you want to be an astronaut, go out and pursue everything you want to do as an astronaut. Okay, understand that there are going to be challenges along the way. Understand that you're going to have to do the work and earn every inch of it. But despite whether you have autism, doesn't matter. All that matters, guys, is that you believe in yourself and what you think of yourself, okay? Be around people who love you and accept you for who you are. Stay away from people that are going to hold you back. And most importantly, don't let anybody on this planet hold you back, okay? I will share my story that most of you guys don't know, but some of you do know. Like I said, guys, I've been fired because I had autism. I've been told I can't do this because I have autism. And you know, I'll admit it's not easy, but as time went on, I learned that it didn't matter what people thought. Okay, it only matters what you think of yourself, guys, and be around people that love you for who you are and accept you for who you are, guys. And remember the one thing I will always say throughout the month of April on the channel, it is okay to be different, okay? So also, guys, let me know what you guys think of the background. If you want to see this background in future episodes as well. But yeah, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and you all know what to do. Leave a like down below if you enjoyed. Make sure you subscribe down below if you haven't. And I will see you all right back here in our next episode. Love you guys.